My parents did foster care when I was a kid, and we had 2 teenagers, but God really called me into foster care in 2019. I read an article that said that 1 in 4 babies in Lake County are born exposed to substances, and I just really felt like he was revealing to me that, like, there's a ton of kids coming into care, and they need a safe and loving home. And I was 23 and single, living in a studio apartment, but I just knew that he was, like, asking me to step out in faith and to become a foster parent. Getting my first placement was super surreal. I remember the day very vividly. Wasn't really sure what to expect, and they bring out this cute little boy to me, and they're just like, "Good luck," and I was like, "Good luck. That's all we get." And then they just give me this baby, and we were in there for less than 5 minutes, and it was just a very bizarre experience, but I was so happy and loved having him. My attachment to little man wrecked every single idea of short-term placement that I had put in my mind. I had originally set my expectations that I knew that they would be leaving in a short amount of time, and that got totally blown out of the water when I met him and fell in love, and then started building my own plans of keeping him forever. They told me that there was a kinship placement that they were looking into, that obviously was hard on me to hear. It's just a very weird feeling to go from having a kid that you care for 24/7 to not having a kid at all. What got me through the reunification with little man was knowing that I got to be a part of his life, even if it was such a short amount of time. My pain and discomfort is not worth more than his opportunity to experience love and security and comfort. It was very difficult, but also just kind of reignited the fire that I had for being a foster parent. The biggest preparation change for me was that I knew that I was willing to do forever. That was necessary for my next placement. I needed to be willing to do forever and be willing to trust him with what was next, because the next journey was going to be harder and was going to be something that both my safeguards were going to be broken down, and I needed to be willing to say yes. My second placement is my daughter Sage, who I got to adopt. They told me that there was a girl who'd been in the NICU for 7 weeks, and she was on a feeding tube, and her medical future was pretty uncertain. They said that she would be developmentally behind and that she might be blind and deaf. They just had this doom and gloom prognosis of her life, and from day one we prayed for her health and for God to provide healing. And Sage is kind and funny, and she loves to dance and sing, and she's going into kindergarten this year, which is really exciting, and she loves every kiddo that comes into our home, and I just love watching who she's turned into be, and she's just a lot of fun to be around. Since Sage, I have had 6 other placements. It is hard for her. She still talks about kids that we had, 3 years ago, and she'll bring them up randomly. And, I'm like, "Hey, I know it's hard," but she understands why, and she understands the mission behind it. I think the biggest way that God has used me is just by allowing me to open the door to 8 amazing kids and make an impact, whether it was for 2 weeks or 18 months, and know that I was able to plant even a small seed in their life and seeing how that will grow. I was afraid to lose a child that I loved very deeply. I was afraid to lose a kid that I thought that I would have forever. I was afraid of exactly what happened to me happening. Looking back now, I know that that was my own personal fears, and yeah, I got this amazing kid out of my second placement, but that didn't take away the fact that there's still a bunch of kids coming into care. If I'm going to do this, I need to be willing to do whatever God is asking me to do, not just whatever I want to do. If you are scared to become a foster parent because you are afraid of getting too attached, you just need to remember they didn't get to choose this life for themselves, but we have a choice to open ourselves up for them to have the opportunity to have a safe and loving environment, even if it's just for a season. Yes, it is hard. Yes, it is painful, but they are worth it.